Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Monday Night Muscle. I'm here with Sugar Sean Ray, Hall of Famer, and a guy who might be a future Hall of Famer, Mr. Keon Pearson. What's up, Key?
Hey, how y'all doing, man?
We're doing pretty good, man. We're here in the studio, in the nice comfort of our Stone studio, doing the Monday Night Muscle thing. But more importantly, my friend, what are you doing?
Right now, I'm talking to you guys. Outside of that, man, just been training and just, I'm actually in prep now, so I'm starting to focus on my prep 12 weeks out. So
that's what we want to talk about.
That's all it's up.
You're getting ready for a show that's 12 weeks away. Tell us a little more information about that contest.
So if you guys know, I did move up to 212, so this is going to be my 212 debut at Boston Pro. I was going to take the year off and just keep growing, but I made pretty good, steady progress. So me and my coach decided, why not? Just going to put everything to use. So I'm young, I'm growing pretty quick. So I was like, why not? Why wait? So now we're 12 weeks out. We won the Boston Pro.
Well, a year ago, you won the New York Classic Physique Championships, and then you appeared in the Mr. Olympia Classic Physique, and now you're moving up to the 212. So what's the biggest difference? Are you able to put on a little bit more weight? And why now? Why move up now?
I pretty much, I capped the weight pretty quick. A lot of people didn't know the struggle that I made to the weight for a Classic Physique for the Olympia. But even though it was just 1 year, I just decided, why not just take a break and just try to grow. With my genetics, I can grow pretty quick, and I'm young. How much better can I be at competing at 180 pounds? You know what I mean? I can get leaner for sure, but to reach my full potential, Classic Physique wouldn't be there. So that's the reason why I moved up.
So just for the record, and for the people who aren't that familiar with the weight classes, your weight cutoff or your height in Classic was what?
5'5", 180.
Okay, so now, and obviously now you've got up to 212. So where are we going to see you on the stage in terms of your weight? Where do you think your best conditioning and shape is? Is it towards the 180, 190, or 200?
Right now I'm pretty lean. Realistically, I think I'll be competing at Boston Pro probably around 198, 200 pounds. I competed at Olympia at 178, so it'll be a big difference.
Wow.
So with that big difference, I've always said this, I got to look at the guys that came before me in the form of Muhammad McAway, that was probably your height, about 5'5". He was probably on a good day 165 pounds. I came behind Labrada, who was maybe 175 pounds, chalked up 2 first runner-ups in the Mr. Olympia, and at my best I was 206, 210 pounds. So you're going to make a pretty big jump. Is it going to be risky? Will we see the same that we saw in New York? Because what you brought as a Classic Physique artist, everything seemed to be right there, but like Muhammad bin Aziza, he beat Dorian Yates at about 190 pounds. And the next time we saw him, he had gained all this weight and he was never the same. Is it a risky game that you're playing here with all this size you're trying to add on in 1 year?
I really can't say. Right now, all this is so new to me. This is the first time all this right now. I guess we'll find out, you know what I mean? But I'm very confident it'll be a very good package. Like I said, I'm already lean and I'm 12 weeks out.
How much you weigh now? Where are you at?
Right now, I am 212.
Okay.
I'm at 212 right now, but like I said, I'm pretty fairly lean to be 212. And this is my first time ever being in the 200s, believe it or not.
Now, whose call was this now? Is this something you always wanted to do, or you wanted to make the jump? Do you have a team around you? I know you were working with some of the guys before.
At the time, I was working with PJ Braun. That was my coach. So we both discussed the 212 decision. And then we went with it. Now I have a new coach, Dorian Hamilton, and we're just still going with the same call. And I want to do it, It's not about, I know, that's the coach, and we all discuss everything, but I want to do 212. And I feel confident that, I belong in that category. So now I'm going with it.
A year ago, one of the interesting stories of the 2019 Mr. Olympia weekend was that of William Bonek, who had a longtime coach in the form of Neil Hill. And they worked together for many years and had great success. And at some point, William Bonek decided to go separate and do his own thing. And he actually moved up to his best placement ever by getting the first runner-up at the Mr. Olympia to Brandon Curry this past September last year. He didn't jump right back into the business with another coach. he started training with other people, but he didn't have another coach per se. Is that something that you find you have to have in order to do what you're doing?
As far as having a coach, I mean, I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, he's been in the game longer, you know. I'm still fresh. This is like my second pro year, so I'm fresh. So I feel like I do need a coach and have that guidance. William Bomack, he's been competing before I even thought about even competing. So it's kind of different if you think about it.
Weren't you working with the fabulous Flex Wheeler there for a short period of time too?
Yeah, I was. I was with Flex for the whole entire Arnold prep. That was a really good experience. Meeting all the old school legends like Chris Cormier and all those guys. So that was pretty cool.
Now, there was a lot of rumor mill going on about then that you guys had some sort of a bitter breakup, so to say. Things didn't really end on a positive note. Can you lend your opinion to what happened, Keon?
We just went separate ways. That's pretty much what it was. And he had health issues too, also, and I felt like it was important for him to focus on his health rather than just focusing on me. And I knew he had health problems too as well. And so, I did my decision. That's when I had moved with PJ Braun. And then from there, we just worked with each other since then.
Yeah, and aren't you working with a new company as well?
Correct. I actually got them on now. HD Supplements. They're they're based in Canada. So they're new up and coming, but they got a lot of hot athletes like Steve Lars. They got Breon Ansley on there. And they got a few other type of, big people on there too.
So what's the end game? You're jumping into the 212, which Kamal El-Garni, who at the ripe old age of 47, 48 years old, won that title from a very young Derek Lunsford, who'd been pushing Flex Lewis just the previous year. He's a two-time first 212 runner-up. No slouch, a former Mr. USA champion as well. But there's some other cats in that division too. George Peterson III is moving into that division. Yeah. And it's definitely a little bit deeper water for you to be treading in, but is it going to be to your liking, right? I mean, you were chomping at the bit there in the classic physique, but now you're not training with any restrictions, right? You're able to just run wild. So are you looking forward to this challenge against these guys that are proven and seasoned athletes?
Oh, I am, man, for sure. I'm excited. It is a challenge, but I'm willing to keep working so I can be with these guys. I know I can hang with these guys. I won't be the biggest on stage, but I definitely will have that classic structure with mass and my flow. So I feel like I will be able to stand out and catch everybody else's eye over a lot of those guys. So I'm excited to bring, what's to come for you guys to see. So.
Okay, you'll be in unfamiliar territory for the first. Most of you guys in the Classic are about the same weight because everybody's got to suck down to make that weight per their height. You're all obviously the same height. So you're going to, for the first time in your short career, you're going to have some guys outweighing you by 10, 12 pounds of muscle. So this should be a pretty good experience for you. But with those proportions and shape, presentation that you got, which is always one of the best, I think you're going to fare very well.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. I'm excited, like I said. And this is going to be really good just to bring the actual full look. Sean Ray, I always look up to your physique, and I always kind of resemble you as far as physique-wise, your roundness and stuff like that. So I'm definitely pushing for a look like that. Like I always tell people to this day, if they had 212 back in the day, you would be the perfect fit for 212.
Thank you. I tell Bob that too, but apparently he missed the entire career because he was in the NPC while I was in the IFBB. But that being said, Keon, what areas are you going to focus on your physique to try to wrestle this title away? Because how old are you right now?
I'm 25.
So you're probably going to be the youngest guy in the 212 division.
25. Sean, you got T-shirts 25 years old.
And I got sneakers older than that.
Man.
What are you going to be working on specifically besides focusing on adjusting the weight? What body parts are you going to be working on, and what are you going to be trying to do to them?
Just thickness everywhere. Back, legs. Definitely break up my calf. I know that's a genetic thing, but I'm working on my calf as much as possible. Yeah, just thickness, man, honestly. And I definitely want to get more upper on my chest as well. So thickness and density. I know density comes with overtime training. I know you guys know that. So density and thickness.
Well, to give you a little perspective, at 25 years old, Lee Haney was already Mr. Olympia. So it's not out of your reach to make this a possibility for you to happen. And we basically need the youth of tomorrow to show up on the Olympia weekend because a lot of the guys are much older, Bob.
Yes, and they have a lot more years in the gym, so it's always good to see some good young talent coming up. And yeah, back thickness, that would definitely be a bonus because the Bull, Peterson, holy crap, I've never seen a back thicker than this guy. So you'll be standing next to him.
Yeah, for sure. I thought I could get away from him, but I couldn't. He moved to 212 too. I was like, well, okay. Time to work harder. So
that 212 division is shaping up. You got Sean, the giant killer, Clarita in there, and of course Derek. And yeah, this will be one that we want to see as Kamal tries to defend his title. If he can get here, we're still hoping that we get past this whole COVID thing. And how you been coping with that, the COVID? Are you training in a personal training studio? Are you sneaking into the gym? I know that if I were your age, I'd probably be breaking into my gym in order to get my workouts in.
Oh, man. Well, I live in Atlanta, so Atlanta was one of the first places to open back up, like extremely, really quick. Everything opened up. Even through the COVID, I had found me a private gym, and I was training through the whole entire pandemic. So I didn't lose no gains. I was still going. As far as business did slow down a little bit as far as training, but now everything's picked back up since everything's opening again. But now stuff is slowly, unfortunately, closing again. So just trying to, I'm just trying to adapt to everything as it comes.
Well, Keone, we appreciate you stopping by and giving us the update. Be sure to check back in with us. We got about 5 weeks to the Olympia, so make sure to give us an update as we get a little bit closer. And we wish you the best, my brother.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for having me, you guys.
All right, we look forward to seeing you very soon.
All right, Sean. All right, you guys. Bye.
All right, man, that's the future of bodybuilding right there, Bob.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's got his work cut out for him. There's big differences between Classic and 212 or Classic and Open, all right, depending on which division you're in. And most notably is the weight difference.
Yeah.
As per the rules in Classic, there's a height-weight ratio. Mm-hmm. So everybody in that class is pretty much the same when it comes to size, muscle, that type of thing, regardless of what your age is. 212 is wide open, bro. That's the open division of the 212s. You can be anything you want as long as you're under 212. Most of the guys don't actually tap out at 212. They're between 200 and like 208.
Right, but I think the beauty of this division, Bob, is that we're going to see the majority of the guys are going to be relatively close in height.
Yep.
Now, mind you, Chris Bumstead's a 6'1", 6'2", Classic Physique champion who had to take on a much shorter Breon Ansley, and he actually won. And you can see the height disparity. It reminded me of my days of competing against, Lee Haney and against Dorian, where these guys were much taller, much bigger. This, I think, the playing field is getting a little bit more level because the illusion that Keon's going to be able to show on stage is that he's actually going to be bigger because he's going to add some weight to his frame. Him standing next to Kamal, he's probably going to look like the bigger bodybuilder, even if he's a lighter bodybuilder, because Kamal brings that conditioning, that graininess, but he also looks a little bit stringy in certain poses.
Well, Kamal's 20 years older than him.
Absolutely, so he's got the muscle maturity.
Closer to 30 years older
than him. But the look of the muscle bellies is where we're going to see the difference, because Keon's young, his muscles are round and full, they're very healthy, not really depleted.
Well, when 212 came around, there wasn't really a lot of smattering about people changing divisions.
Right.
When Classic came in, then there was this whole big thing. Well, will Classic kill bodybuilding? Everybody's going to go to Classic. Interestingly, we're seeing people going from Classic to the 212.
I can tell you, Keon doesn't look like a Classic Physique to me. As good as he is, he's not a Classic Physique. He's a bodybuilder performing as a Classic Physique artist, whereas I think Kamal is more, Chris Bumstead, he looks like a thinner Bob Paris type Classic Physique. He's got nice lines. Breon Ansley has nice lines, but he would have to bulk up to be the 212. Keon has been masquerading in Classic Physique posing trunks, and now we're going to probably see the best of Keon that we've ever seen.
I see the same thing with George Peterson. I see a bodybuilder. I don't see...
And he won the Arnold Classic.
Yeah, and he won. And this he's tremendous. He's got a lot of muscle, but
round.
It always brings up into question, Sean, that age-old argument. What comprises Classic bodybuilding? Is it just a physique, or is it a look? And I tend to think it's a look. Like when I see Bumstead, I see a Classic physique. Like he's got those lines. Like he almost looks like a throwback to the old days, and other physiques like that. There's been other physiques that have been tremendous, but I didn't necessarily see him as Classic. So is there a difference?
Well, I think there is, because the look of Chris Bumstead, which is the yardstick right now, is more slender. It's not bulky. Chris, to be a bodybuilder, would have to be like Dorian Yates, and he would be taller than Dorian Yates. So you can imagine he would have to probably be about 80 pounds bigger to be a bodybuilder. Whereas Keon, no, I just mentioned Labrada, Mohamed Makaway, Mohamed Ben Aziza. These are smaller, shorter, more compact guys. And he's going to be standing next to probably the tallest 212 athlete, which might tap out at about 5'6". So he's right there at the top of the 212. Ahmad Ashkanani.
Yeah, Ashkanani's
on a good day, Ahmad's maybe 5'4". Maybe 5'3". And he won the Arnold Classic Championships over there, and he's pushed these guys to the limit. Keon has found the right category at the right time. I hope he doesn't put on too much size to make his debut in this division where it washes out those cuts that got him there.
Yeah, because there seems to be a fine line. Presentation seems to be a lot more involved in classic than it does in bodybuilding. Presentation seems to kind of encapsulate the entire classic look. And that's where I think it's missing on some of the guys, even though they make the height and the weight. They don't look classic to me, and just because you do this
doesn't make it a classic.
Physique.
Well, Keon is one of those guys that understands the dynamic of posing, and he worked with Flex Wheeler, and of course
he's tremendous.
He studied some of the things I left behind, and you got to wonder. Some of these guys coming in feel the need to have someone help show the way. He's already had several coaches, and he's only 25 years old. And again, we mentioned Lee Haney at 25 was Mr. Olympia, and all he had was Superman or Rope Man as his training partner. It's changed a little bit, hasn't it? It seems like these guys all need a little bit of push or some guidance. Is he fast tracking it by working with these different people?
I think it can be good and bad, and we're going to do a whole segment on this very shortly, because that's a hot topic for debate these days. Is the guru necessary? Are they more harm than good? I've seen guys go in the shows. I mean, I did it myself for years. We like to joke a lot about how long it took me to take pro, but a lot of that was self-inflicted because I had different people helping me, different gurus, so to say, that I used. And at the end of the day, when I finally got it right, I actually went back to what I was doing when I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, I get guys asking me, I'm not even their trainer, and they'll say, hey, Sean, what do you think I need to do in the last 24 hours? I'm like, go ask your coach. I don't even know what you look like. But yet they're coming to someone with knowledge, wisdom, and authority. And the thing is, we can't necessarily dial you in, and we have nothing to do with your contest prep. So a lot of these athletes are very insecure about the finished product because everything is riding on it. And this guy seems to be like he's getting it right anyways. We're going to find that out on December the 17th to the 20th. Once again at the Planet Hollywood at the Zappos Theater. Keone Pearson, man, he's one to watch out for in the 212 division. Moving up in the division. For Bob Chick, I'm Sean Ray.